Hi, Alin there. You're watching HTML tutorial for absolute beginners, and in this video we will create a registration form and also a subscription form. Alright, so in our previous video we created a login form and also a contact form. We have actually seen how to build probably our first two real applications in HTML. So congratulations to all of us. But today our first form that we'll build right now is going to be the registration form. So the form will have a few sections. So we will have the first name section, then we will have the last name section, also we will have the gender section, then we will have the email section, and last but not least we will have the button section. So actually the same procedure will apply in this case as well. So you should be trying to solve the registration form on your own, and after 15 seconds we will do it together. Great, we will see each other then. Alright, so I guess that as you might have seen, the CSS part of things will remain the same, so there won't be any differences over here. But what I will do is actually delete this piece of code and start from the beginning. So we'll actually create an H1 in which we'll write my registration form, and then we'll create a form tag. Alright, and as I have previously said, we'll have a few sections. So the first section is gonna be the first name section, and for that we'll write a label for first name. Actually give it a name of, or maybe we don't need to give it a name after all. We will just write first name, then we'll create an input type text with the name of first name. Alright, and as I might have said in previous videos, the for attribute in the label will be for this input, since it's gonna match the name tag. But for that we'll also create an ID of first name. Okay, that's our first section. What else we can do is actually create a break tag and make this input required. So this is actually our first section. Our next section is gonna be a label for last name, and in between we'll write last name, and then we'll create another input type text with the name of last name and an ID of last name, and also make it required. This is gonna be our second section. Our first section is gonna be for the gender, and for that we'll create a div. I forgot to mention that over here we should actually create a break tag so that the label is going to be displayed on one line and then the input will be displayed on the next line. Next, over here we will create a label for gender, and we will write gender, then create the break tag, and over here, since we would like to select either male or female, or to have the first option as empty, we will create a select box. And for that, the way we actually create a select element is like this, and we will give it a name of gender and also an ID of gender. And in between the select tag we will have multiple options. Alright, the first option will be an empty option, and then we'll have the option for male, and then we'll have the option for the female. Alright, and then we should have this div closed. Probably I removed it by mistake. Alright, our next section will be the email section, and for that we'll create a label for email, and I always forget that it's not a self-closing tag. Then I create an input type text with an ID of email and the name of email. Alright, make this required and also add the break tag over here. Alright, and our final section will be actually the submit button. Input type submit, and we'll have a value of register. Alright, so let's actually see how our form will look. Alright, so you can see that we have the first name section in which we can type my first name. Then we'll have the last name section in which we can write my last name. Then we'll have the gender select box. And last but not least, we'll have the email section in which we'll write my email at test.com. And whenever we press the register button, we are being presented with the values over here into the URL. One thing that I forgot to mention is the fact that on all of those forms that we have built so far, so the login form, the registration form, the subscription form, and also the contact form, the method in which we should send the data to the server should be the post method. Because I totally forgot the fact that in the previous video and also in this video, I have used like the default get method. So basically all of the arguments were being presented in the URL. So in order to fix it, whenever we create the form tag, we should write the method of post. Okay. And if we try to save it and remove that part of the URL and we enter some things over here, basically the data will go to the server and they won't appear in the URL anymore. Alright, so our final form that we'll build right now is gonna be the subscription form. And the subscription form is probably gonna be the most simple one to build, because it will require only an email field and then an input type submit, so that the user will subscribe to our awesome newsletter. So in order to build it, we will replace the age 1 from the my registration form to the my subscription form. We will remove everything from here and we'll just have a form with a method of post. We will actually create our section for the email, and we will write a label for email, and we can write enter your email to become subscribed or something. Okay, so we'll write an input type text with a name of email and an ID of email. Alright, and our final section will actually be an input type submit with a value of subscribe. Alright, it does look a bit weird, and I think that I know why that is, and it's just the fact that we haven't actually added the break tag over here. So yeah, confirm forms resubmission. Okay, so now it looks a bit better. And now whenever we enter like an email and we hit the subscribe, we actually send the email to the server, and from then we don't really care what's gonna happen. And in order to make sure that we actually send the data, we actually hit inspect and then click on the network tab. And when we try to enter the email again, my email at test.com, and press subscribe, we can see that we have a call over here. So that we make sure that, yeah, exactly, over here into the payload, which is basically the data that we are sending in this form, we can see that we have this email over here. So in this way we can actually make sure that we are sending something to the server via this form. Great, so that was all for this video. In the next videos we will start building our final application in HTML, which will be a bit complex but also fun. So make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel in order to get notified when new videos will pop up. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the content and if you consider that it's at least 1% relevant, then please leave a like, a share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you on the next one.